This Folklórico dancer was one of the most difficult tattoos I've drawn in a while. Keep watching and I'll walk you through my process. My client grew up in Texas and wants to start a sleeve of things that remind him of home. He sent me a few references, some of which I've pulled up here, and I began kind of sketching out the shape of the one he liked the most, which was this one. I knew I could do better though, as far as the folds of the dress went, so I had some images of the dancers in motion pulled up in another window as a reference. Once I had a rough sketch finished, I started lining out my basic design as the first version here. I ended up changing quite a bit about the anatomy and the headpiece later on, which you'll see in my next version, but here I am tracing my design a second time, adding a skull face like he requested, and I'm starting to work on the actual pattern of the dress, which is arguably the most important part, right behind the shape of it, of course. Here I am adding in the stripes of the dress, making sure I have enough detail without overcrowding it and making it too busy. Next, I begin to trace it a third time. We're gonna skip ahead, and you can see I've changed the braids again. They don't look like braids though, do they? Don't worry, I will fix that here. I ended up taking them out entirely because A, I wasn't happy with how they were looking, and B, everything was just too crowded with how much detail was going in. Now we get into why this tattoo was so difficult. After adjusting a few things, I realized I just wasn't happy with the way the torso looked, and I realized the proportions were completely off. So after changing around the neckline of the dress a few times, I finally decided to move things around. Additionally, I was also looking at more references of anatomy and how these women dance. The pose is pretty difficult because we're kind of looking down at her. I also changed her arms here because I realized her Lego hand needed to go, and I also just wasn't happy with either of the arms, to be honest. Now to make some final adjustments to the dress and the hem of the dress and the way things are flowing. As you can see, I'm just kind of changing things around a little bit one more time to make sure I'm happy with them. It took so much adjustment. I also decided to add some falling roses from one of the references he sent me because I just liked the way they look. And finally, I create a color reference by just kind of sketching in where I want things to go. I'm not fully coloring this in, I'm just kind of deciding what colors I want to put where. We ended up flipping it around for the final application because of the arm he decided to put it on, and here I am working on it. Overall, this process was so satisfying. I love designing traditional tattoos so much. Now for the final reveal. I hope you guys love this tattoo as much as my client and I do. Please comment below what you'd like to see next, and like and follow for more.